Hi, I'm Andy Zimmerman. I'm the Chief Technology Officer here at Grace Technologies, and today I'm going to give a very brief overview to our Maintenance Hub technology platform. This is our web-based user interface designed to give you, the customer, access to the data that's been captured by our Industrial Internet of Things line of products. So without further ado, I'll kind of kick in. The first step that you're going to undergo in this process is to register for an account on our platform. I'm not going to go through that with you here, but the idea here is that you create an account and then allow our customer service or sales team to come alongside you to give you access to the nodes and the data that your hardware will be collecting. So once you've got that account created and a username and a login set up, you'll come to this main page at hub.gracesense.com and log in. Once we log in, the first thing you're going to be greeted with is a dashboard that looks something like this. This dashboard is centered on the hardware that you have installed. And so you have the fully customizable capability of laying out where that hardware sits, in what folders, and how you want your hardware assigned and displayed here. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. But at a very high level view, there's a couple of things on this dashboard that I want to point out. In the upper left here, we're seeing that this particular system, there's no currently active alarms. That just means that none of the sensor data that we're capturing is out of alignment with the thresholds that we've set for that data. On the right side here, you can see that one of our 11 nodes in this network is actually not currently active. And that is secondarily indicated by these little wireless icons down here on the right. So these icons are telling you that one of the nodes in our soda machine deployment is actually inactive. And as we dig in further in this tree, we can see that that node that's inactive is actually the rotary vane pump vibration and temperature node that's been installed with the serial number of 0J0001, right? So the rest of the kind of things that you can see from this dashboard in these green boxes, this tells you the number of channels in that folder that are currently in a normal state. So this yellow set of lists, if we had a channel that was alarming in a warning state or a danger state, you'd see that in the representative yellow or red box. So, you know, the other things that you can do from this is dig in on one of these specific nodes. I'll just pick one at random here, and you can look at the real-time data that's been captured from that particular node. So in this case, we've got a suite of vibration data that's been captured. And then also, if we run down here, you can see your, in this case, a surface temperature reading from that vibration and temperature node. If we mouse over this, we can see that in the last minute, this data was captured and reported. And we're seeing a 22.06 degrees Celsius reading. So from a dashboard, this is designed to give you a quick and easy indicator of the health of your system as a whole. If we click on one of these data channels, it'll actually drive you to this data page. And this will give you what you'd expect from a historical view of the data that you've collected. At the top of this page, we have a handful of buttons. The first one that I'll talk about is our channel button. This will allow you to actually go in and map, say, some additional data on top of the data that's already being displayed. So this will give a second node worth of temperature data. And then at that point, we can zoom in at any part of this data, and display kind of what was going on at a given time on a given day. There's a couple other buttons at the top. By default, we only show 3 months of historical data. So if there is older data available, you can load that over here. Or if you've stayed on this page and you want to refresh data that has come in since you loaded the page, you can click on Load Newer Data. There's some options at the bottom to export to various different file formats. But generally, this is what you'd expect from a page that lets you zoom in and kind of look at data in a variety of different ways. So from here, the next question we usually get is, well, how do I actually issue alarms or alerts based on the data that we've captured here? There's a couple of different ways to do that, but I'll talk about one of them here today. We're going to go to our alarm management dropdown on the left of the screen. And to start with, we're going to create a notification. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create a notification to be sent to our application engineer, Bryce Brewer, when a temperature reading exceeds a certain threshold. So we're going to call this just, Bryce's temperature alert. We can give it some sort of summary that would be delivered to that individual. I'm not going to type anything of interest here. But one interesting thing that we can do is we can set a set of action steps that should happen when this temperature alert gets exceeded. So in this case, I'm not going to enumerate this greatly, but I'm just going to say be alarmed, right? That temperature should not exceed, and I'm going to associate a photo with it. Now, in practice, this photo could be something like, a picture of the pump that's wrong, or some sort of document outlining how to fix something. In this case, I'm just going to attach, a simple icon that tells Bryce that this is a serious temperature problem. So let's create that notification. That will store the notification that's actually going to be sent via either text message or email, depending on how we can kind of configure his account. And now we've got that temperature alert available to be used. Second step is to walk into here and create a template for that alarm. So once we've got the notification set up, we're going to create a new alarm. This is going to be Bryce's alarm. There's, no need to create a summary here. This is going to be a danger level. So in the parlance of this ecosystem, this is the red style notification instead of the yellow style notification. And we're going to send Bryce's temperature alert along with it. I'm going to target Bryce with that particular alert. You can select one or more recipients for this particular alarm. And then we're going to create a temperature threshold in, say, degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to tell Bryce if this node ever gets above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to come in here and we're going to create that threshold. So Bryce's temperature alarm's now been created. So the last step on the alarming side is to bounce into our alarm management screen again, go to assign alarms, and we're going to choose one of these nodes that we were just looking at, this blower housing, and I'm going to associate that alarm with that temperature channel. So here's Bryce's temperature alarm. I'm going to configure it there. And this is just giving you visual indication that that's alarmed, ready to go. And from now on, if we see that temperature exceed, Bryce will get a text message. So hopefully he's not upset with me for that. Let's say now we want to jump in and change the settings of that node that we're just talking about. As you see on the left-hand side, we can again access that menu and bounce into our node settings page. We can come into that particular node and make a variety of different changes. We can rename it. We can add photos of that asset or notes on it. This would be a way to keep an indication of maintenance events that may occur on that asset, something like that. I can actually then come in and configure that node in a variety of ways. So in this case, we've assigned it one of our existing, in this case, it's a combo gate as a parent. I can change the check-in period, how frequently it transmits. I can update, this is our throughput rate that tells it how hard it basically can try to communicate. And then we've got some special modes that can be enabled on top of that. I'm not going to get into that here, but all of this can be changed from this screen. If we bounce into the node itself, there's a handful of changes we can make. We can rename channels, just like you saw at the node level. We can change sampling rates. So if we go to configure, I can update. I only want temperature readings once every hour, for example. We can make that change. I can come into the vibration settings and do a whole slew of different configurations. So again, I'm not going to touch on all of this here. We've got other documentation that supports this, but these are things like changing the maximum range of the accelerometer. We can have it sample vibration at less than once a minute, so say once an hour. I can come in and actually set this up to do, let's say, instead of looking at variable speed drives, we can actually set it with a fixed speed for a 3600 RPM drive, for example. I can come down to the bottom here in certain analysis types, and I can actually indicate what sort of vibration data I want back. All of this is configurable from the node settings page. So with that, the next thing I want to jump into is how you go about interfacing with a control gate technology. So these are our devices that give you the ability to couple our data that we're being captured with a control system. So in most cases, that's a PLC. So we do that by going into our control gate configuration page that you see here. In this case, this has already been assigned, but we basically can assign vibration and temperature nodes to a given control gate device. And then at that point, we can come in here and export the types of things we would need to integrate that device with a control system. So whether that's an EDS file, a memory map in the case of a kind of Modbus TCP/IP approach, if we're exporting an L5X file for integration within Rockwell Studio 5000, any of these things can be done from this menu. And again, we've got other videos that can give you kind of the details of that. So the last thing I want to touch on in this quick video is our vibration analysis page. So this would be a page that you would look at if you had an asset that was rotational in nature and you wanted to deploy our vibration and temperature nodes to monitor the vibration of that particular asset. So we've got a exhaust fan. I think this is the one we were already looking at. That's queued up here, and we can come in and look at the current data that's being captured for any axis on any of the nodes that have been assigned to this fan, and how that fan is performing relative to the expected output. In this case, you can see that we have a slight increase in amplitude in our subsynchronous band. These are the frequency bands that are reported by our vibration node, but generally, this particular asset is looking fairly healthy at this point. So that's really the very, very high level tour of our maintenance hub. We really would encourage you, if you have additional questions, see our other videos on YouTube, or give us a call here at Grace. We really appreciate you watching this video, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.